Hey, my name is Sarah, and welcome back to another episode of Talking Fast. Hey,
What's
Jacob,
up, Sarah?
We are separate again. We are separate again. This was the fear I slightly had with the virtual records. Once we realized how easy it is for us and for our schedules as two very busy people, that this was going to become like part of our new norm.
I know, but for anyone listening, we will be back together soon enough, including the next 2 episodes at the very least.
Yeah. I mean, like we're literally. Yeah, before this, we were talking about our next episode. Our next episodes that we're recording later this week. So it's like a big, heavy record week for us. And we're going to be getting into the holiday spirit. We can't record until I've set up my Christmas tree. So I got to do that this week.
Oh,
and then we can start, right?
I'm excited now.
It's like post-Remembrance Day. Isn't that like a thing? It's like post-Remembrance Day. I can set up my Christmas tree now, I think.
I know a lot of people that go like as soon as Halloween is over, which
no, that's
seems
ridiculous.
A little early in my mind.
That's ridiculous. When I was, I'll talk about like where I went this week, but when I was at the resort, they were setting up all their Christmas decorations. So every day we'd like wake up and there'd be more trees, there'd be more whatever. And it felt a little weird because I was like in a hot destination, but then I was like, do you know what? I guess it is close-ish, but before American Thanksgiving was surprising to me.
That it's always surprising to me that Christmas happens in warm places. I don't know why, but it just feels wrong to be like on the beach with a Christmas tree or something. But that's the world we live in, I guess. Some people live in hot climates.
Then there's a large population of the world like that, actually.
many people.
So we might not be fully in the Christmas spirit yet, but we are in the spirit of talking about what we're eating and drinking every single week. So Jacob, what are you eating or drinking this week?
Okay, I went to another one of Jen Egg's restaurants the other day. I went to Le Swan, which is on Queen West. It's like a French diner. It is.
Yeah, I've walked by it a million times. I've never been.
Have you been? Oh my God, you have to go.
No, I've walked by it
is
900 times.
It's such a great location, just in the city. You could go to dinner and then go to an event or something like that, go to a concert, or you could just like go somewhere and then pop in and sit at the bar for like a nightcap or something. They also have incredible food. A lot of it's like fairly simple, but like elevated takes on it that just are perfect for like the colder weather or any time of year, realistically. I was looking at the menu and kind of browsing like, oh, we're going to share something. We're going to share some things, this and that. But what piqued my interest, they have a meatloaf and mash on the menu. And I had seen meatloaf on another menu of like a kind of nice restaurant. I was like, listen, I didn't order it at this other restaurant that I was at. I think forget shareables. I'm going straight up meatloaf and mash at Le Swan myself. And it was so good. It was so good. I think that like...
Wait, I have to go.
I made an Instagram post.
Meatloaf so
you have...
much.
Oh my God. And it has like a nice, it's not ketchup, but you know how you eat meatloaf with ketchup? It has like a nice ketchup-y spread on the top. The mash is just really nice. There's a side of green beans. And then they just launched their new cocktail menu for, some new menu items as well, but on their cocktail menu for the colder weather, the new season.
Oh, you
they
made
have
an
a
Instagram
blueberry
post
tea.
about this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a blueberry tea, which is like, think hot toddy, but made with blueberry tea instead. It is like... It might be top 3 favorite cocktails that I've had this year. It was delicious. So yeah, a good experience.
Wow.
I would definitely recommend going and checking out the meatloaf. What about you? What are you eating or drinking this week?
Wow, that's like could not be more different than like you're in like cozy. I went back because I was in a warm destination. I was just slugging back frozen drinks. Give me a frozen margarita. Give me a frozen pina colada, daiquiri, any of the above. I feel like I'm not at a resort unless I'm consuming like a frozen mixed beverage. You know what I mean? Like that's like what makes me feel like I'm on vacation.
when we're talking cold drinks, mixed beverages, do you have a favorite kind of ice? You know, like some people like the big chunky cube. Some people like that pebble ice. You know what I'm saying?
Well, this one, like, this is like frozen in the sense of like slushy.
So it's blended.
You know what I mean? Like frozen.
Okay,
like,
yeah,
blended.
yeah.
Blended. Sorry, I should say frozen, but it's like blended. So I love a blended pina colada. It's the best. And like at the resort I was at, they had just like like a big pineapple coming out of it, and just they were all pretty as well. The only disappointing thing that I didn't do, because I just like lost track of time and forgot, is I didn't drink out of a coconut, and that was the one thing I want to do, was have one of the cocktails in a coconut. But next time, there's always next time. But anyways, I just forgot how wonderful a frozen blended drink is.
You ever think about just buying one of those machines, those like blended drink machines for home, so you can like, you know, it'd be nice if you put a nice light in it or something. It could be kind of an accent lamp, but then also you just have nice blended frozen drinks on tap all the time.
Well, okay, so a funny like side quest story is like in 2020, like years and years and years ago, for Haley's birthday, we went to a cottage because it was like you're allowed 10 people and all this stuff. It was like COVID-y.
Oh yeah.
But we went to a cottage and we did like bar night at home, like bar night where everybody made a bar. Like, so we all went into pairs, and our friends Drew and Chen, they did Margaritaville as their theme, and Drew bought like from Walmart like a $200-$300 margarita blender machine that's like, and it's Margaritaville branded, like it's from Jimmy Buffett. So then at his engagement party this summer, he brought it out and he started making everyone frozen marks because he's like, I have to. He's like, I've only ever used.
You got to
this
get the
machine
use
one
out
other
of that.
time,
Yeah.
and that was fun. So he's literally, for cost per use right now, he's at like $150 per blend.
Those are some expensive margs, but you know what? I respect it.
But they were delicious.
Sarah, what are you watching or reading this week?
I finally got out of my reading slump and I finished a book for the first time in God knows how long. Maybe since like June maybe was the last time I finished a book, which this is my biggest slump I've been in since I've been back into reading in the past like 5 years. The Housemaid, it's a movie coming out with Sydney Sweeney and Amanda Seyfried, and the attractive guy from It Ends With Us, not Justin Baldoni. And I feel like it's one of those books that has been like on my shelf forever. I got it from like Winners. I paid like $12 for it. It's been there forever. Everyone's read it. Frida McFadden's like such a popular author. I just like, I'm not really into like thrillers. Like I've never really read them, but I brought it and was like, I need to read it before the movie comes out because I really want to see the movie. And it was one of those books that each chapter is like 3 pages long. Like it is such a fast read that I read it in one day at the resort. So I read it in one day. And I will say, if you've read it, the main twist of who like the like bad person is was pretty obvious to me. I figured that out very early, but there were some other little twists that I was very surprised by. And it wasn't thriller like scary. It was thriller like, ooh, like who done it? And the one thing I liked about it was at the very end, the author does a very good job at like answering all the questions. Like I hate when I read a thriller and I'm left with so many questions on how did they do it? How'd they get away? Like I want to know like how everything was done. That's like the whole satisfaction I get out of like mystery, thriller, those types of books or movies or anything. And I like that she really tied all the bows at the end and made sure you knew every step of how everything worked out. So anyways, it makes me really excited for the movie because I'm really curious to see how they did it.
Aside from the being excited for the movie, has this now kick-started, okay, you have some more inspiration to move on to the next book and keep the momentum going?
Possibly. There is more books in this series. So because they're such easy reads, I might just like try to stick with a few of her books to start just to like get my book number up because currently it's really low for the year.
Because you have still, let's check in on the goal right now. How are we doing on the goal?
30
we're
for
falling
30.
behind a little bit.
So by June, Jacob, I think this is the first book I've read since I made that goal. Maybe the second book I've read since I made that goal. So
it's going to be a long winter.
That's true. Maybe I'll get back. Look, I read that in a day. So like if I can like get a couple of those under my belt, I could be fine.
You're going to be hitting me up for my niece's Willow and Remy's books by like April time. You're going to be looking for some quick 5
or
pagers.
Just like audiobooks. I'll just like listen to a lot of audiobooks, so that'll help. But yeah. Anyways, it was just great to finish a book for the first time in forever. But what about you? What are you watching or reading?
Okay, I threw this on the other night. It kind of just like was a flash in the pan when it came out, and I didn't end up seeing it in theaters. It wasn't a movie that I really wanted to see in theaters, and then I saw it was streaming. I watched Freakier Friday, like the second Freaky Friday movie.
No,
I
I
thought it
know.
was just
I've
like
seen
a
it.
classic, obviously, but I thought it was like a classic movie. I thought that it did the first one justice. Is it something
Agreed.
groundbreaking? And is it something
No.
that's like, you know, you're gonna write home about you need like 5 stars on your letterbox? Probably not. However, they could have really messed up this movie. And you know how there's nothing worse than like rehashing old IP and like trying to do something interesting with it. They didn't do anything interesting with it. It was a little bit of a repeat, but that's what we want here, you know? And
Yeah.
Jamie Lee Curtis might be like top 5 actress for me. I think that she's that talented. I'm not saying that this is her best work, but I just think that she is so funny.
She's got range. I do think that, yes, that's the best way to describe it. I think it's a perfect remake sequel where you're just trying to make it for this next generation to also like it has enough. I felt like it had enough like references and callbacks to the first film without it feeling like it's beating you over the head. Like I hated Happy Gilmore too because they do flashbacks and everything felt like beating you over the head with like the first one.
Yeah.
Whereas this I felt like
too.
Was more like, you're not an idiot. We know you watched the first movie if you're watching this movie. So we're going to like still fuel that nostalgia, but also have some new twists and new ways of like doing it, which I felt like that's like exactly, it gave me everything I wanted out of it, you know? Doesn't need to be groundbreaking.
And Chad Michael Murray still shows up and is funny. So how can you complain?
Exactly. I like that they keep the thing of him like always having a crush on like Jamie Lee Curtis's, like on her as a person. It's like, it's so funny.
It was fun. It's a fun
I love
movie.
that so much. Okay, and what are we listening to this week?
Sarah, I'm going to be very surprised if you've ever heard of Big Thief. Have you heard of Big Thief?
No.
Sarah is shaking her head.
What
no.
would I have won if I did? Like that's ridiculous.
You would have.
Big Thief.
Yeah, there's a long Big Thief. Yeah, they're a band. It's like, I don't know. Their Wikipedia says that they're like an indie folk band, but I don't know if I would like necessarily call them indie folk. They're definitely like indie something. They have a new album that came out, I think it was a couple weeks ago. By the time this comes out, probably a month ago or something, called Double Infinity. I am a Big Thief fan. I'm going to send you a couple songs, and I'm going to add them to my whatever Jacob's listening to list for Talking Fast. Have you ever been to Old Woman Bay in like Northern Ontario? The beginning of this album starts off with a reference to swimming in Old Woman Bay, which is like just an iconic Ontario place, even though they're from.
Well, is this band
Brooklyn.
Canadian? Oh,
No,
they're American.
not even. I know, which I was just surprised by. But I would say,
Interesting.
I think we've talked about this before. When you have like these days an album come out, it's tough, or it's very rare that an full album drops and there are no skips. Like I feel like sometimes artists are they should have done an EP and then they're kind of tossing in 3-4 songs that maybe shouldn't have made the cut. This is a no skip album for sure. 100%. So I've been playing it start to finish. I couldn't even just like pull out a song because I think it's good start to finish. Go listen to Big Thief. Apart
Big
from
Thief, got it.
lining up Big Thief though, on your to listen to, what have you been listening to?
Well, speaking of EPs that have no skips, Kelsey Ballerini dropped Mount Pleasant, which is 6 songs, and she's become the queen. And she wrote in like a long caption on Instagram talking about how she's really loved dropping like more focused EPs in between album cycles, because it's like a really great focus on like songwriting, and just with an EP, you're not trying to get like a radio single necessarily. You're just like, most of the time, at least when she's dropped them, it's because she like felt like she had to, right? Like she has this stuff off her chest, she wants to get off, and then drops an incredible EP. I had teased, I think it was last week when I was talking about it, because I Sit in Parks was the first song off the EP that we had heard, and I was saying it was giving Casey Musgraves a little bit. The EP still does. I really, really love it. It's like soft. It's just like easy listening. It's kind of exactly what I need right now in like fall, winter time. It's really beautiful. She has a song called Emerald City that I love. And then also The Revisionist is one of my favorites. I mean, there's only 6 songs and I love every single one of them. She has a song called Check on Your Friends.
Is she going to tour this album? Like, does she tour
so
an EP? That's the only thing. Like, it's tough to sometimes hear them live, you know?
As an example, the Rolling Up the Welcome Mat, I saw live at History. I guess that was like 2023 maybe. But she was on tour for her other album, Subject to Change. And then when the EP came out, she added the music to it. And we were like the first,
Okay, she
one
did.
of the first
Okay.
nights that got to see her sing it live. Yeah. Like she started adding some of the songs from the EP. And then even on the last tour Pattern, she had songs from the EP. So she's about to go on tour in like New Zealand and Australia for the tour that I was just at in April. My prediction obviously is that she's going to play some of these songs and maybe just add them in like an acoustic set or something to that part of the tour. But it's really great.
I was going to say, can we also give a shout out to Hilary Duff on this portion of what we're listening to this week with her new song that came out, Mature?
Is this our like trying to beg for tickets? Because like,
well, I was going to say, I was
History, Hillary, History, you're playing History. I know it's small.
Well, it's like a
'cause
small
you're nervous.
rooms tour,
Girl.
but like, well, I was
Girl.
talking to Haley about this last night. I was like, how funny, and I mean, we've talked about this on this show before too. It's like, how funny is it that so many artists these days will book a big tour and then realize, oh, I can't actually sell out these venues, and then have to cancel it, or they change it to smaller rooms. I feel like Hilary Duff is the exception to that rule, where she was someone who's just like, let's actually just market this tour as being small rooms and only play small places. And then the demand for her is like, she could play Rogers Center or something here.
I know. But also, I think a huge part of this is because she went on Jake Shane's podcast and said she will be playing songs like if she toured, she said she would play What Dreams Are Made Of. You like that's
Yeah.
I feel like half of the reason why so many people joined that queue. Like, where were you guys
There
in
were
2015 when she was dropping
thousands
music?
of people. Oh,
I was number like
truly,
30,000 in the queue. Like 30,000
try,
or something.
honestly.
And it's
I
a
didn't
what's
even
it's a
try.
4,000 person venue, not even.
It's less than, I think it's like
Ridiculous.
2,500 or something. So anyway, yeah, Hillary, if
That's
you're
absurd.
listening, we will do anything for those tickets.
To go. Yeah.
Yeah.
I need to be in that room. I don't know how yet. I just feel like I'm going to be. I don't know how. We'll figure it out. Media passes, anyone want to send us?
Yeah, we will
But
cover
do you like
it.
the
We will
song?
give
We
you-
haven't talked. Have we talked about it yet? Did we talk?
We
about
haven't
it
talked
last
about it.
week?
No, we haven't talked about it. No,
I like it.
I like it. I do like it. But it's not. It's tough when you're known for
Look,
like.
she is a peak.
hits that
She's a
have-
peak. It doesn't matter. She's peak millennial. Do you follow her on Instagram? She's a peak millennial mom, and that's
Yeah,
what the
she
song is
is.
giving, and that's okay. That's what it's
Like,
giving.
it's-
It's that part of her life.
It's a bop for driving your kids to school or something.
100%.
No hate.
and
I don't
that's
mean that. I don't
totally
mean any
okay.
hate by that
It's
either.
not. Yeah, I like it. It'll go in the rotation because I like
Yeah.
Hilary Duff. But
And I'm excited to
the
see
thing
other
is,
music too.
I'm excited to see what she does on this like little tour too, to see like what happens.
100%. Sarah, what is something you did this week?
Well, I talked about it at the top, but I went to a new country. I went to the Bahamas. Never been
Fun.
before.
It looked good.
Yeah,
you
it was
were
great.
sending me photos of you like holding little pigs and stuff too.
Yeah, I didn't put those ones on the internet because I was like, are people gonna like hate on me for holding a baby pig? But what the funny thing about holding the baby pig, it's like you go swimming with pigs or whatever, which I didn't even know was happening. Like the tour guide was just like, your pig time is 12:30, and Haley and I are like, what?
My pig
Because we were on our like little day trip, and then we go and like you just like feed them apples, and they're all like just like they're just pigs, they're just chilling. Like I've been around pigs before, but then we go into the little pig pen, and there was so many babies. They were the cutest little things on the planet, and this one was like 2 weeks old, and the guy like she was like squirming in the other girl's arms, and then she puts the pig in my arms and just like stops immediately and just like rests into me. And the guy that is working the pig place, the pig island, whatever, he like looks at me, goes, do you have one? I go, and he's like, he goes, or are you an auntie? And I went, what? I said, no. And he's like, you're such a natural. I was like, okay. So I just held the pig for like 15 minutes.
Did you think about this?
fell
Did you think
asleep in
about
my
you
arms.
like maybe you should get a pig, like a little pet pig?
Okay, do you know what? It brought back a memory that I was telling Haley about. It brought back a memory of like, I don't know if you ever knew these were a thing. They were called skinny pigs. They were basically like guinea pigs, but they were hairless, and like they were like miniature
No.
pigs, and it became a very trendy thing. And like when I was like 12, 13, 14, and my sisters and I wanted one so badly, but then it turns out what ended up started happening is like there actually wasn't that many pet stores legally selling skinny pigs. They were just selling real piglets and then branding
Oh,
them as miniature
wait, I
pigs.
have heard
and
about
then
this,
as
yeah.
miniature pigs, and then people would like bring it home and raise it, and then it would turn into a full-size pig. So we wanted one really badly, but then obviously that started happening, so we never got one. So I've always liked pigs. They're very cute. But anyways, the Bahamas in general was wonderful. We stayed at Atlantis, which I felt the amount of responses I got of people saying it's like the Mary-Kate and Ashley movie because they filmed that movie at Atlantis. So that was amazing. It was just a really great trip. Like I was only there for 4 full days and I feel like I didn't really need any more time. It was like the perfect amount of time. I did everything I wanted to do. I got enough sun. I got like the perfect amount of like relaxing reading time as like excursions. It was the perfect little getaway.
Was it nice to get away, especially when I feel like Toronto just hit kind of, it is cold outside now. So you escaped at like the perfect time.
Yeah, we were saying, I think like the perfect time to go somewhere on a warm destination is November and February. November because it's like Christmas, you're like busy with like holiday stuff. And like you can romanticize the snow and the cold around the holidays, but it's like, and it's so busy and so you're distracted by all of that. So November is a nice like little getaway right before that, just as it starts getting cold. And then February is when you're in the depths of it. It's like you're in the depths of depression. Yeah. And that's when it's also a good time to get away. Like January, you're still in the like fooling yourself that it's the new year and you're going to do all this stuff. And it's like, oh, It's a new year, like new me, whatever. So I feel like November and February. So now I want to go away again somewhere warm in February, I think, just to like break it up. Because just that vitamin D, that that vitamin D is just so good for my soul. It was so good.
There's got to be nothing better than like bringing. Did you bring a coat? Actually, this is a question. If you're traveling to a warm destination and you're going to the airport in the morning in Canada to fly away during the winter, do you wear a coat or do you just
no, because I'm going from my apartment into an Uber. Like I just wore a sweater, like a hoodie.
I guess so.
And then I get to the airport, and then as soon as I got off the airplane, I was like, get this sweater off of me. Except for I will say the air conditioning was so cold that like it felt like extremism. Like it would be so cold in our room, and then we'd walk outside, and then it's like 30 degrees. I'm like, my body is very confused
the
right now.
change, yeah,
At
that's
the
a
resort,
huge.
yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, what is something that you did?
Okay, well, I talked about this, I think, maybe in the last episode or two ago, that, like, I'm trying to maintain a little bit of strength, get back into the fitness stuff now that, like, I don't have the marathon to train for. So I've been just, like, checking out different YouTubers who are doing, like, at-home, doable strength / HIIT classes. There is something, I've got a bone to pick with, like, YouTube fitness influencers, though. I don't know why none of them talk to you or talk you through the moves. It feels very Black Mirror a lot of the time as I'm like watching these videos and they're just like weirdly waving to you. There's no voiceover about the moves. They're not talking like mic'd up or anything. It's just silent. Or sorry, it's not silent. There's just no talking, and then there's like weird royalty-free music, which just like is not.
I feel
really
like
the
that
vibe.
became popular in the pandemic because remember there was that girl that everyone did her workouts. I forget her name.
Yeah, yes, I know
who
exactly who you're talking about.
And she's kind of started the trend of just like no speaking music. So she was like not speaking, and she would just like play the music and then just wave
weird
and then do
waves
all the moves
and stuff. Yeah. So okay, this is a call out. If anyone that is listening, if you guys know of any YouTubers or someone like that, I'll even pay for it. Who's like got good classes and they put them on YouTube, but they actually speak to you. And I don't even need like full-on motivation or something like that. I just need non-weird vibes when I'm doing my
Doesn't
workout.
Blog Lottie speak to you? Doesn't she talk?
Ooh, okay. That maybe is a good tip.
She's an OG too. She's an OG.
I'll check it out.
Blog Lottie's is like OG. Like that's what I did in high school when I would do
okay.
workouts.
I'll check it out because I've been tossing the yoga mat down in my apartment behind me here, and
I love that.
That's what I've been doing this week.
Becoming a Pilates prince because you're
100%. Actually, I did Pilates the other day too at Emma's studio, Daybreak, and it was hard. Oh my god, I literally had to stop a few times because I was getting Charlie horses in my.
I stop all the time at Pilates. I lay there on the mat half the time. That's why I like the really dark rooms.
I literally well, it's so light outside, and I keep looking at Emma in the face, and she's just like, okay, and now we're going to pulse. I was like, oh, God, a pulse again. And she's like, okay, we're going to count this one from like, and she says like 60 and then down. It's not actually 60, but the number's always way too high for me.
And finally, what is something that you're loving this week?
Okay, I went to it was just a friendly, but the Canadian men's national soccer team played Ecuador on last Thursday, I think. So I went to that game. Fun. It was just a friendly, and it was kind of a tough game because we got a red card in like the 6th minute. So it was a little bit of kind of like park the bus, and it wasn't like that entertaining. It ended up 0-0. But there was something fun about
against Ecuador for Canada.
Yeah, Ecuador finished second behind Argentina in their group. So like they're quite a good team.
Got it.
So we played well with, one fewer player. It was fun though because it was a sold out crowd. And it was the first game I've been to, like the first Canadian men's game I've been to in a while. But because now we're leading up to the World Cup, and that at the field that we were at is one of the venues for the World Cup, started to catch a little bit of World Cup fever. We're only a few months away from like events kicking off, figuring out game schedule, looking at it and being like, there's no way we're going to pay $5,000 to go sit in the nosebleeds, so we'll just stand outside the stadium. But on the heels of like Blue Jays playoff run in the city, I feel like it could probably be even go beyond that in terms of like how fun it is to be in this city during the World Cup. So I'm excited.
Well, just think about how fun Toronto is during like the Euros or the World Cup when it's not in Toronto. Like the fact that like when it was in Qatar, other than like the Euro, like I love going to watch games like when you go and like Nolan's an England fan, so like we'd go watch like Man of Kent or like whatever. Like it's just so fun to be around other people. So having that cultural like part where it's like there's so many different cultures in Toronto that are like normally just cheering for the World Cup and like cheering for their own countries, to then having the layer that it's like we are good enough to be in it again, and also it's in our own city is crazy. Exactly. I will say I'm slightly nervous because the World Cup Toronto celebration village, whatever they're calling it, is throwing distance from my apartment.
It's like outside your house pretty much?
Essentially outside my apartment. And I am a little fearful of what that traffic is going to look like. I just want people to leave. I'll have to walk. I was going to say
you might have to like you might have to like go rent a parking spot somewhere else. Like if you want to drive anywhere, just park your car
I won't be able to, somewhere else.
The whole tournament for the whole month. Park your car at my house in the East End.
Yeah, I was going to say I'll use your visitor parking. I'll park in the East End because that's the only place I drive to anyways. But like holy moly, it's going to be madness. But I agree. I feel like once the calendar turns to 2026, it'll be even more exciting. It'll feel like the World Cup's actually coming.
Absolutely. What is something you're loving this week, Sarah?
I kind of touched on it, but just an extra long weekend trip. I feel like I used to do this a lot, but also not with not really choosing to travel to the States right now and stuff. I feel like I kind of lost them, the extra long weekends. Like occasionally, like I mean, when I go to Nova Scotia, it's like an extra long weekend trip, but really you only need to, like, if you have a regular 9 to 5, take like 2 days off to like really get a fulsome trip. And that's what this Bahamas trip felt like, because we had a 7 a.m. flight on the Thursday and then an 8 p.m. flight home on Sunday. So like by the time we landed, it was like we got to our resort by 11 a.m. on Thursday, and they let us check into our room and everything. So we'd like still a full day. And then we had a full Friday, full Saturday, full Sunday. They also had they called it a transit lounge, which I really liked, where it was, you know how like when you're staying at a resort or something, it's like you have to like put your bags with the bellhop, and then you have like a backpack or something with all your belongings in it. You have to change if you still want to use the resort for the day. They purposely have a lounge for that. So like they have showers, they have a place to dry your bathing suit. Like they have a full lounge
that's
that
awesome.
Like if you're checked out and you don't have a room anymore, you can like use that for the full day before your flight. So like that was really cool. So like I feel like I sometimes get anxious on those days because it feels like you don't have all your things and you can't really choose what you want to do. But I didn't feel that at all yesterday, which was great. So I just say an extra long weekend trip is amazing. Like it's just, that's like what we sometimes need to put into our lives more.
Sometimes you go for a trip that's like 7 days, 8 days, 9 days, and you're by the time you get back, even though you're on vacation, you're a little tired, you know?
100%.
I like that.
I feel like it's like the perfect mix of like truly feeling like a little vacation, like I got away, but I didn't like fall that behind. Like I was still doing some work while I was there, and then it felt like I started my life today back on Monday, because I got by the time I got home it was like 12:30 last night, and I don't feel like I was gone for like a million years, which sometimes is also the fear. So if you're looking, if they're like you see a 5-day trip or like 4 day, you're like, oh, is that going to be long enough? Just know that I'm putting the seal of approval that it's long enough. Welcome back to Talking Fast. Today's episode is brought to you in partnership with RBC. We get so many listener questions about finances, from budgeting to job hunting to figuring out how actually to feel confident with money. And that is exactly what we're talking about today. RBC has just released a report called The Cost of Keeping Up How Social Media is Shaping Gen Z's Money Mindset. They surveyed 1,000 18 to 24-year-old Canadians, diving into how social media is shaping Gen Z's financial habits, their aspirations, and their anxieties. It's not surprising, but the report finds almost half of young adults think about their finances every single day. And more than half say that social media makes them feel behind, even when they're doing just fine. So how do we press pause on that pressure and get grounded in our goals? To help us unpack it all, I am so excited to be joined by financial expert and author Melissa Leong, who's teamed up with RBC to share practical ways on how to protect your money mindset and build more financial confidence. Melissa, I am so glad you're here. Welcome to Talking Fast.
Thank you for having me.
I am so excited to dive into this, not just because selfishly I could use some support here. And also a lot of the things that were in this report really resonated with me. I'm a Zillennial. I'm right on the edge of Gen Z and millennial, but growing up in this digital age and generation, I do feel like so much of the stressors that come for Gen Z when it comes to finances are also something that I struggle with as well. To kick us off, young adults spend a lot of time on social media, and the report found that 71% browse social media multiple times a day, and 64% of respondents feel financially behind because of what they see on social media. So what are people seeing that is bringing up these feelings?
So our brains are constantly assessing our progress by measuring ourselves against others. This is a very normal thing. But what we don't always appreciate is we always say, this is someone's highlight reel. Those comparisons are really distorted. You're seeing curated signals of success, right? So you're seeing vacations and new cars and home ownership, and you don't see what you don't see is the debt, the stress, the hard work, the parental help, maybe the sponsorships that make this all possible. And of course, I think that triggers feelings of falling behind because money satisfaction is relative. It's not absolute. What that means is there's no number that's posted when you graduate school that says, hey, you're going to make this amount and you're going to be happy and successful and you're done. It's just basically, you could be doing okay financially. You could be on the right track financially because your feed is full of peers showing that they're winning. I'm doing air quotes on your podcast for people who can't see them. Your brain will still code that as a loss. So yes, it's not rational, but it is universal. A lot of us feel that way.
And also because things move so quickly on social media, right? So like the trends move faster. Like I can't even keep up with everything, and I like work as a creator for a living. So is that a factor of it as well? The fact that things move so faster, and you think, oh, well, I need to now like purchase this next thing or move quickly to make sure I'm not falling behind?
Well, the move quickly part is just our everyday lives now, right? Your brain needs time to process the long-term repercussions of your actions. You need to be able to pause and think before you buy something. But that's not often the case in this current climate.
And also I would say like when it comes to like pausing and thinking, I think it's because also the young people don't realize how much time they actually have. Like I think it's like we were in this like rat race of this, that, need to purchase this, we're scrolling, but they feel like they're running out of time. And with that, they think they don't have the opportunity to like purchase a house. They think that they can only buy a house if they win the lottery. Is there an advantage to being a young adult with a lot of time to get started in taking care of their finances?
Oh my goodness. If I could do anything, it would be to get into a time machine, go back to my mid-20s and my early 30s and just give myself some advice. And that advice would be, you have a seed. And if you plant it right, time will turn that seed into a mighty oak tree, the most amazing thing. And the only thing you're going to have to do to have this incredible oak tree that will give you shade, it'll give you wood for you to build whatever you want, is to use your time to build the skills and to plant the seed so that something magical called compounding interest will turn that money. If you say invest it and you decide to learn about the stock market, say you decide to invest it into a fund, for example, the compounding interest is how your money is going to hopefully double with time. So it's not about getting rich quickly. It's about using time on your side to build wealth, which every single person can do.
Okay, so let's talk about planning then. And one of the other topics brought up in the report were Gen Z financial goals. When someone's overwhelmed with finances, it can be hard to focus on planning, but we've just went over it. They have time. And if you're starting, there's no better time than to start now. What are some attainable small goals to get things moving in the right direction?
So one of the things that I often hear from not just Gen Zers, but Canadians across the board is, if you feel stressed, because money can be stressful, sometimes you feel compelled to hide. You just gotta bury your head in the sand. You think, I'm not gonna look. You stick your fingers in your ear and you're like, la la la, I don't wanna know. But I promise you, if you just turn the lights on in your financial house, it's not going to be as scary as you think. And if you do see something scary in there, you know how to deal with it. You don't, it's kind of a monster, but I that monster doesn't look as bad. I can fight that monster. So if you turn on the lights and look at your bank statements over the last month, download your bank app to the front of your phone, the first page of your phone, and check it regularly. Look at how much money has come in and how much money has gone out and to where over the last few months. Ask for help, but you can't make decisions if you don't know what's happening. So that's one of the very first things to do, is once you figure out where your money is going, then you can make better choices that are more in line with your values and your goals. And some of those goals can include paying down debt. Some of those goals, because a lot of Gen Zers have debt that's outside of their student loans,
which I was so surprised to learn in the report. I don't know why. I just think that when you think of debt, especially with young people just assume it's all student debt. But yeah, learning that so much of it is not that. Does that have to do with what they're seeing on social media, and then lifestyle inflation and all of that just trickles down as well?
I mean, things are really expensive out there. You've got your student loans, you're trying to get your career started. The housing dream looks far away because housing is really expensive, and you've got rising costs. So there's a lot of downward pressure. But at the same time, there is a lot of hope that's still out there. I think 75% of young people did also say that they expect their finances are going to improve in the next 5 years. And that's beautiful. That's a beautiful thing to think, you know what, I can still find light and hope, and I can work and do this. But yes, you did mention social media, and social media does have a really huge influence in how people feel when it comes to their finances and how people spend in comparison to everybody else.
Yeah. And the report has a bunch of other practical tips for pressing pause on social media for this purpose because of the pressures. And I love the idea of a seasonal feed cleansing. So what does that look like? And how does somebody clean up their feed? Because we're coming to the end of the year. I feel like it's a good time to do that.
It's the perfect time to do that. So I have always tried to, say every month I will clean out my feed. I will go through it, and I might still love you, but I might be muting you if I don't feel good seeing your things. Because the report did say that after spending an hour on social media, people start to feel jealous, they start to feel anxious, and all positive feelings start to just plummet. So you are in control of that. One of the very few things you can do is control what you see. And remember, what you see affects what you're doing with your money and how you feel about your spending and your own life. So yeah, I would just go through and mute people, unfollow any account that makes you feel kind of, it makes you feel envious, makes you feel anxious, it pushes you to spend things that you don't really want to be spending on. So I will just go through and unfollow all store accounts, retail accounts. Sometimes I will ask my friends, I'll tell them, hey, I'm doing this. You want to do this with me? And I'll ask them for suggestions. What are some recommendations of feeds that are going to promote my mental health, like positive mental health? Like, do you have any feeds that are just funny, comedians, things that are empowering, things that make you feel good, and following influencers and content creators who are authentic. They're not just showing you the perfection, but they're showing you the progress. They're showing you the behind the scenes, right?
And those that are having open communication as well. Because I think like this RBC report, the cost of keeping up how social media is shaping Gen Z's money mindset is a great start for us to start having these conversations. And I know you talk a lot about the importance of communication when it comes to money and how talking about finances with friends and family can be a good strategy to take control of your money. Can you tell us a little bit about this strategy? And since we're talking about it today, and this is a great start for all of our listeners, and we're starting the communication now, how can we continue it with this strategy?
So I would do 3 things. Have a money conversation before the end of the day. Have a money conversation with someone. It could be absolutely anything. It could just be something rhetorical. You know, you could say if you're at dinner and you are with friends, you might say, hey, you know what? If you guys got $10,000 today, how would you spend it? What would you do? You know, Sarah and Melissa told me to have a money conversation with you guys and just talk about it to make it the language of your group. So I have started talking about money with my friends, and over the years, it has made money conversations so much smoother, easier, expected. When we go on a girls' trip, we know we're going to have a money conversation beforehand. The second thing is to be vulnerable. Ask for help if you want to. You don't have to say, hey, I'm broke. Do not use negative money language. Say, you know what? I want to pay down my debt. Is anyone dealing with something like this? Does anyone have any tips that were helpful for them? Don't be afraid to reach out and tell people your feelings about money, because that will empower you in so many ways. And finally, when you have this money group, so I have a money group that I text before I buy anything. I just say, hey, ladies, what do you think about this? And some of them are not helpful. Some of them will say, you know what? You need that, girl. But it's just the action of taking a pause and sending it to them that is helpful. But finally, have a group that you write about a goal. Say, hey guys, keep me accountable, because studies show that if you have peer support, you will save more money and you will meet more of your money goals.
I love that. And it also helps normalize the conversation, especially for Gen Z. And if they're doing this, they start this now when they're young, they have so much time that starting the conversations now will make it just so much more normalized in the years to come as well. Do you have any other interesting findings or takeaways from RBC's report that you think is super important to share with our audience today?
Absolutely. You mentioned press pause, and that for me means pausing before acting when it comes to money. You need time to process the long-term repercussions of your actions. So how is this Uber purchase, or how is this food order going to affect my savings for my emergency fund? How is this? We don't think about that. We just think, oh, I'm tired. It's a long day. I don't want to cook. I'm just going to do this. But if you just pause on any kind of big purchases, maybe say 24 to 48 hours, and put in a little bit of friction into it, what that means is don't just put it in your shopping cart. Put it into your Instagram saved folders under something called wish lists, or take a screen grab of it. If you really want it, you'll try to find it again. You know, you need just some time to think about it. That's why I send things to my girlfriends. And the other thing is you need time to do that clarity piece, which is to look at your money, decide what's worth spending on. And then that way, once you've sort of created these automatic deductions for your goals, then if you come home from work and you're exhausted and you think, oh, I'm just going to order Chinese food or whatever, it's okay. It's okay, because you've already spent some time to take care of your priorities and to think about spending on what you really value, right?
I completely agree. And I think it goes with like the mentality I've always had, which is I'll never love this more than when I love it in the store, as an example. So if I don't like absolutely love it in the store, any of those like little tricks that you have for your brain too, to be able to like remember that you can take a pause and circle back. Or if I'm at a shop and I pause, go to another store, and if I'm still thinking about that item, then maybe that's like part of it. But then if I've left the store and I'm not thinking about it anymore, then maybe it wasn't for me. It wasn't meant for me.
For sure. And you can also ask yourself, would I buy this? Would I spend money on this if no one would ever see it?
Oh, I think with the social media aspect, that's a great question for them to be, for everyone to ask themselves. Yeah. If it's not going to be seen, then would you still love it and cherish it and be something that's important to you?
I mean, the answer might be yes, but at least you're asking the question.
I love that. And that's all just started with like asking yourself questions also comes with all the conversation and everything that we've talked about today, which I really appreciate. And just making money not scary and making it something that we just talk about more normally. Thank you so much for joining us today. Just for our audience, I would love to know just like where they can find you as an expert and how they can follow along for any more tips from you.
The best way to reach me is just to find me on Instagram with my handle Melissa Leong. I can only manage one social media platform. That's the one.
I love it. And then for any of our listeners, you can also check out the RBC report, The Cost of Keeping Up How Social Media is Shaping Gen Z's Money Mindset. I loved it. It's also a great report because it has a bunch of graphs. So for anyone that has a short attention span, doesn't want to read the full thing, there's so many graphs and numbers and everything. It makes it so easy. But Melissa, thank you so much for joining us today. I think this is super valuable and everyone's going to love this conversation.
Great. Thank you for having me.
I really loved that chat that I had with Melissa. Sorry you could not be a part of it, Jacob, but I needed to go solo on that one.
You did it. You did a fantastic job. It was a great chat as well. I have listened to it.
I say solo. Jacob was quite literally on the other side of the camera while I recorded that interview. Just for context, it was one of the first times we did a virtual interview,
moral
so we were really nervous. Yeah, but it was really great. And one of the key takeaways from that conversation when we were talking about money, and like it did help me because I feel like one of the things we talked about, she said, have a money conversation every single day. And we're going to do that today because we feel inspired by the topic and the conversation. And I feel like actually after I had that chat with her, I did start like talking to my friends about money a bit because I was telling them about the interview and how it went and like the report and everything. And that week I actually had multiple money conversations with friends. So I feel like if we can start getting the ball rolling here, Jacob and I are going to have a little money conversation and hopefully it inspires you listening, watching, whatever, to then also just like have a less awkward money conversation with your friends or your family or your partner or whatever.
100%. I'm excited, sir.
Okay, so I Googled like money questions, like whatever, because I was like, okay, where's like a good baseline to start?
These are the big questions that people want.
The basis of this was mostly money questions you should ask your partner. And
we're partners in a certain way. Yeah.
100%.
Partners in podcasts.
Partners, all of it. So anyways, it's like the same. And so we chose some of these questions that we liked and that we think will be good. And also it's just good. Like, I mean, we've talked about money like quite a bit on this podcast. We all know that I don't budget and Jacob does. It's probably one of the questions that's going to come up. But we're going to get started. Do you want to kick us off?
I think this is a great question too, because let's just ask it. I think that this is a great question. Are you more of a spender or a saver?
I am more of a saver, which would probably surprise people, I think.
I think that would surprise people. In what way? Like, do you just like put away every dollar that you make and you're like, what's the mentality there?
There's a few different ones. I have a lot of I guess we're starting off like deep here. I have a lot of financial insecurity because I did not grow up with money. And I grew up with a lot of money anxiety and a lot of inconsistencies with finances growing up. So I was always like really nervous about having money. So once I started making money as an adult, I was like that person that I used to say like I never looked at my debit account ever. Like in high school, I never looked at it. Like I would be so nervous to even buy lunch because I was like, oh my God, like I was really like anxious about spending money. And then as I got older, I got like a little bit better, less anxious, didn't think about it as much. I've just always wanted to have enough money that I could just like not have to think about it, to be honest. But I did because I had to think about it so much when I was younger. So I would always say though, I was a big saver in the sense of like I stashed once I could. For so long though, I was making just enough money to like live. So like I didn't have the opportunity to save. I didn't have savings growing up. I didn't have like anything because I didn't have like when I went to university, like all the money I made from babysitting and everything over the years had to go to tuition and rent and all that stuff. So I think once I finally started making enough money that I could save a little bit, then it went to student debts. Like a big goal of mine was to pay off my student loan as quick as possible. I didn't want to have any debt. So I'd say that was saving in a capacity because I was just like throwing it onto debt. And then the second I paid that off, which was early 2020, it was actually a low key blessing from getting laid off from my job at Yahoo because I got a
your
payout
package and then
that
just like
payout and my
chunk,
package. And because I was working again right away, I didn't have to worry about rent. So I just put that chunk and paid off the last of my student debt. Once that happened,
awesome.
So I'd say as of 2020 is when I finally started being able to save. like actually more intentionally when it comes to investing and that type of stuff. And yes, I am terrified of taxes and being audited and the government coming and taking all my money away, or Jacob saying, Sarah, you owe me a large amount of money that I'm just going to have a panic attack over. So I stash my money because I'm so afraid that someone's going to come and tell me that it's like not really mine. So I stash. And then when I do pay people, I realize, oh shoot, I actually do have money. So I guess I'm a huge saver that way.
Maybe it's changed from when you started being able to save and put away, a chunk of your kind of monthly earnings, say, to now. But like, where were you, or where are you putting it? Like, are you like, okay, let's put it in a TFSA so I have access to it if I need it? Are you someone that's like, okay, let me like contribute to my RRSP for retirement first and foremost, or like, what's your? Do you have both. What your savings plan looks like?
But wait, yes, I'll dive into that in a second. But wait, you're a saver as well? Yes.
Oh yeah, I would say. Well, okay, I'm a bit of both. I'm a saver and a spender, and I'll tell you the difference.
I think I'm the same way. Like, I'll spend on things that I like care about, but I do prioritize saving, I guess is the best way to describe it. I'm
definitely more of a saver, but where I am a spender are things that I would probably consider like investments in my own life. I would say, because there's one thing that I think that people can fall into the trap of is like, okay, once they start making a little bit more money, they have disposable income on top of like taking care of their own basic needs. There are certain things that can like make your life feel a little bit better. And like that for me, has always been like, okay, let me invest and spend a little bit more on rent and where I live, or like when I could afford a car, it's like, okay, I'm going to afford a car because that'll then open up the ability to see family and friends more often in ways that are a little bit more convenient to me, which is not going to like, I'm not going to make any more money by using a car to go and visit people, but it will elevate my happiness, I think. So like in that way, there's obviously the common trope of does money buy happiness, and obviously not directly, but I would say that there are certain things that if you do spend on them, if you can afford them, will make your life a little bit better. Aside from that, it's like, okay, for sure, you need to have your, like, I have weekly contributions going into both TFSAs and my RRSP accounts. And then, yeah, it's like at the end of the year or quarterly or whenever you kind of like look at whenever I look at my budget quarterly or yearly, and then you kind of say, oh yeah, like you just said, maybe I do have a little bit more money than I thought, which is often the case, as I think we were aligned in like, oh shit, you always think that you don't have any money, and then you get to a point and you realize, oh, I actually do have this large chunk of money. Let me also contribute that to, one of those savings accounts.
Exactly. Well, 100%. So yeah, and I think like this is probably good to know just for also like listeners, is I only started contributing to a TFSA and an RSP a few years ago, maybe 4. I started doing RSP for tax purposes. Literally that's why I started contributing, because you get a tax break when you do it.
I think a lot of people don't know that. Yeah. Like you get a tax break. large break.
A large break, especially if you're someone that's like a sole proprietor, and at the time I was, or if you're someone that's like making realistically anything over like $100,000, like it's a good chunk tax break to be able to put into your RSP.
Yeah, and if you're like working and your employer does RRSP matching, that ends up
you need to take advantage of that
money to you, because if you
100%.
Are putting in, like say it's like $100 and they match it per month or whatever it is, and they also put in $100, it's like you're still getting a tax cut based on those contributions in total to your RRSP.
100%.
Which is basically you're not getting any money directly in your pocket, but in a way you are.
But you are in the future.
Look into it.
You are in the future, or you're getting money back from taxes, because then also if you're getting a tax return because of it, whatever it might be. I only started really investing in everything a few years ago. I have a TFSA. I have a first-time home buyers account, and I have which I only opened this year. I guess it's only been around for like 2 years, but I opened it this year. And then I have an RRSP. And then I also, run a business which does corporate investing.
Oftentimes, once people start to, I mean, we're talking about all these different savings accounts and stuff like that, there's a good chance that someone listening to this has none of those things, which is totally fine. And I would say that, like, to your point about when you started, saving and contributing to more of these accounts, the best time to do that is just right now. Like, if you can
immediately
now,
the younger you are, the better.
Ben, you're never too late to start doing it, which is, I think, what a lot of people think, just like, oh, I just don't understand that, so I'm going to keep all of my money in my checking account. And that's not always the best thing to do.
No. And I understand it's like scary, but also remember that, like, if it is something like a TFSA, it's like Jacob said, it's easily accessible. I think that's the thing I was scared about, was like, oh, if I put my like savings over into that, like, what if like a disaster happens and I need access to that money, or I need something? It's pretty simple to get it out. Like, it's not like a big, like, it's not this like huge thing. Like, within a couple days, your bank or financial institution will help you out. So I think once I got over those fears, it really helped. But I will say, it's the more you talk about it, the better. My girlfriends and I were having like glasses of wine last week and just like chilling, and we were talking about where our money's. And the one what we were starting talking about this because we were talking about weddings and how expensive they actually are, and like how the costs creep up and all of those things, and how people, and not even just like how expensive they are, but how people are paying for it. Like, I wanted my friends to go through, and we were talking about like who, like, amount that you're getting gifted from parents versus like how much each partner is putting in, or if you're putting it in together, versus how much is going on credit card, whatever it might be. Like, even like those conversations, like when we're saying have a money conversation, it sometimes might be as simple as like a conversation you're already having, which might be your friend's wedding planning, but without needing to hear her exact numbers or anything like that, you can still like get an idea of like also things to like future plan and like things that are coming down the road as well.
100%.
We've talked about this on the podcast many a times, and
yes,
if you're a long-time listener, you probably know the answer already. But the next question was, do you keep a monthly budget?
Sarah, I'm gonna pull up my monthly budget here, just so, my yearly budget. Well, these were my yearly budget and monthly budget. I won't say specific numbers because like it's not worth it. But I'm looking at I have to scroll down this spreadsheet quite far because I have.
Do you put every purchase you make? Every purchase
No,
you make
so
is in the
essentially
spreadsheet?
the way I have my budget laid out, I'm not doing like individual expense tracking. I'll do that like as a self audit every few months type of thing, to be like, am I keeping my entertainment spending or like personal spending or like, car spending? Do all of those amounts that I spent in, say, July, do those add up to, or are they below the number of the dollar amount that I have budgeted for that kind of line item for the month? So I'll check in periodically to see how I'm doing there, but I'm not too stressed about like tracking every single individual purchase. I know that there are a bunch of apps out there that you can do that just to be on top of it a little bit more, but I don't do that. Mine is more so broken into like different categories to say, okay, I have X number of take-home dollars to play with per month based on what my kind of yearly bring-in is. And then I've got like my home category, which is everything from like rent to utilities to tenants insurance and that kind of stuff, to the auto, which is, everything that has to do with my car. I also throw in like, obviously you have to have gas expenses in there. You can't forget about that one. And then Uber and parking and all that kind of stuff. I think that one of the biggest benefits of having a budget laid out like this is that you have to think about all of the little expenses that go into your daily life that do add up. And I feel like, especially for like auto, or call it transportation, a lot of people, and for me, when I was first doing this, I didn't include Uber or like rideshare payments in
Which is
there,
crazy, because like that's like so expensive.
100%. You're like, well, if I'm just taking a couple Ubers per month, do I really have to put it in a budget? It's like, well, okay, maybe that number starts to be like 5, or maybe it's a lot higher because you don't have a car and you're using a ride share all the time. It's like, if you're really not tracking those, you could be way above your budget.
That was my catalyst for like getting a car. A huge part of it, aside from the fact that we just wanted one, and like for our lifestyle, and like the car we did have was like ran its course. A huge reason though why I was really pushing it is I tracked my Ubers over the course of a month and was disgusted with how much money I spent. And it's because like, if that's the only way to get around quickly, quote unquote, if you don't have time for transit or like this or that, or you're running around the city, and it's like you don't think about like the $15 here and there, but if you're spending like $30 a day on Ubers or whatever, that's a car payment. So it's like absurd.
And to like what I was talking about before, you also don't have the benefit then of like being able to use it conveniently whenever you want to like go and pick up a friend from the airport or go and visit your family or something like that without also, you know, paying a much larger amount.
Or to rent a car or the train whatever totally. It might be 100%. So
and
that's good to know that you're more like, it's like a big picture budget as opposed to like you're not doing your like day, like you don't like, I know people that like spend $3 on a coffee. Well, that's actually no, what coffee is $3 anymore. Let's say they spend $5 on a coffee and then they immediately pull out their phone and put it into their budgeting app, which like that works for some people. That does not work for me. Yeah. So the way you do it's really interesting to me. I should maybe adopt an approach like that.
Well, I think that the reason I do it like that too is like, say coffee, for example. That's like an expense that most people are going to have, or like going out and treating yourself to a drink of some kind. It's like I would put all of that under a monthly like food and kind of going out line item. And the reason is it's like, if you have a coffee spend per month, there might be a few months in the year that you just enjoy waking up at home and making your coffee at home. And then there are other months when you know you're going to be much busier, or like you're not going to have time to be doing that in the year, and you're always buying coffee in the morning. So it's just to say that like sometimes those expenses might not be the exact same per month. So being conscious of when you're going to be spending a little bit more and having that overarching category to not be so hard on yourself. If like you went over by a little bit in one coffee expense, but you maybe didn't go out to eat a few times that month, which might fall under the same kind of general category. That's how I find flexibility in my budget, at least.
I like that. That's a nice way to approach it. I think I've started to adopt more budgeting mentalities, and I think I kind of always have. I just have never formally tracked it. Like I kind of have like an idea, but granted, when you do like live with another person, you do in general have to like think more about it, because you need to be able to think about like your rent split, depending on how you do it, your rent split. Now also we have a car payment, like whatever those things are, like our car expenses, like what does that look like, all of those. So I do think a goal is a goal every year. I think I get a little better every single year, but a goal for the new year is definitely just to be like, again, a little bit more aware of it. And I'm slowly getting there. I'm better than I was 2 years ago probably, but not nearly at like the spreadsheet level yet, you know.
I'll send you the template in December as lead up to it. Speaking of spending, this is a good one, because I feel like in terms of, especially what Melissa was talking about as well, is like, okay, doing a cleanse of your social media, but then how about doing a cleanse of maybe things that you're spending money on every month that maybe you could reduce. If you had an expense that you could cut down and reduce your total spending on, what would that be? Is there something that kind of you think that you're spending food. A ton of money on? Yeah, I think that's probably one that everyone has.
And granted, it's so dependent on like where you live. Like living in a city, ordering food is just so easy. Like it's like ridiculous. Like it's just there. And also like I find sometimes like it's just like timing wise, whatever, but it's definitely the ordering food. Like when I go out for a meal, I never feel like, I don't even actually go out and sit and eat meals that often. It's like mostly, I would say ordering is like huge. And we definitely made some strides in that this year, because we like started doing like HelloFresh as a way to just like, it's more so that I don't have time to grocery shop a lot of the time. So it's like, that's the issue that I have. So like the ordering food is just easy, because like if I order something that I can get leftovers out of, then I can have multiple meals at once or whatever it might be. But we've started doing HelloFresh for that purpose, as a way to like know we'll always have the ingredients for something for at least 2 meals a week. So that's really helped, because that's like way less expensive. But ordering food would be the biggest expense I could cut.
I think that, yeah, if you look at it, ordering food would probably be mine as well. And I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that. And then to your point about like HelloFresh or any of those like meal in a box type of kit companies, those are great too. But then like there are also pretty good grocery delivery services. Like if you just wanted to like place an order either directly through the grocery store itself or like a third party, they've gotten pretty good these days. I know sometimes they can be hit or miss. Like, oh, did they get the rotten tomatoes or the good ones?
Yeah.
And I know that if you look at that expensive, grocery delivery, that's going to be more expensive. It is, but you'll probably end up saving money on like that $10 fee or whatever. Yeah, is not the $10 of whatever you ordered on Uber Eats.
Yeah, I think that's like definitely the thing that if I cut it, I think I would see like a big substantial difference in my credit card bill every single month. I'd say like, and then I maybe before I would have said it was car services like Uber's, Lyft, whatever that might be.
Yeah,
for sure it was that. Before I just got so lazy with it. I've gotten so much better now because I pay for like a car and all the stuff that comes with that. I'm now so much more intentional of like, if I'm not driving there, then I'm gonna take transit is kind of my next thing, is what I do now. Like I really focus on trying to take transit instead, because I just ripping around the city in an Uber just gets so expensive. So I'm glad like that's something I've noticed and I've tangibly like cut that cost down as well. Would you say food delivery is the same for you as well?
Yeah, I think probably food delivery. I think you could maybe in that food delivery or eating out, like. And that's something that's tough because it's like I enjoy eating out a lot. I enjoy like going to restaurants. Granted, it is, with everything these days, it's really expensive to go out and like have a really nice meal multiple times a month. You know what I mean? It's tough because I really enjoy that. Well, it's like you can't go out for dinner for less than, you can't go out for dinner and have like a drink for less than like baseline $100 a head at this point. Easily.
Easily. Whereas it used to be like you could go for under 50, and maybe if you're not drinking alcohol, like maybe you can get away with it, but mostly it's like at least you're spending $100 going out.
You know what the other thing is, and like I don't know if I'm totally, let me know what you think about this. I've heard a lot of people actually talk about streaming services these days as well. It's like there are so many of them, and they're all like between $15 and $20 that you're like, if you add them all up, you're paying a lot of money. So I've actually heard
of like cutting them.
Well, cutting them or doing like being more intentional of like, I'm really interested in watching this series that's coming out on Netflix. I'm going to subscribe for this, like pay the monthly, not the yearly fee, like pay the monthly fee, subscribe for 3 months, kind of watch what I'm liking over here, and then jump over and like, maybe I'll like subscribe to Disney, maybe I'll subscribe to Prime. Well, although Prime is definitely something like with my Prime subscription, I'm never going to drop that one. But you know what I mean? Like that one's the best value
for your money.
100%.
For sure. I will say one thing I do every January, and I could probably do it more often through the year, but January is when stuff seems to come up for like yearly subscription stuff for me a lot. I really go comb through credit cards and see what subscriptions I'm paying for. If I realize I'm paying for any that I'm not using a lot. So I make sure I do that every like new year. I did it last year and I ended up saving myself literally like a couple $100 a month because I was paying for some things that like I just did not make any sense anymore.
That is such a good one. Okay, do that. Check your credit card statement, and then also like an easier thing to do if you like bought it through your phone is like just to go to your settings and then check your subscriptions right at the top through your Apple ID, and if you have any recurring ones that you don't actually need. I think I paid, I won't say who because maybe we want to work with them in the future, but I was paying someone about $350 a year and I didn't even know it.
Okay, are you somebody, I think this will like wrap up our money conversation for today. I feel like we've talked a lot about it. Are you somebody that has long-term financial goals, or do you just kind of like make your investments and go with the flow?
I think so. I think like the overarching goal for me is like, okay, have a ton of money when I'm ready to pack it up and retire.
Stop working.
Essentially. Yeah.
Are you someone that's going to work until you're like 65, or are you trying to retire earlier?
Well, it really depends. Like I always thought of myself also as someone that like would get bored not working.
Me too.
So like it's tough to say like what retirement would actually look like, but I think that's like 65 is the retirement age that I'm shooting for, at least in my plans that I have all set up. What that post work life looks like, that's so far away for me right now that I don't really know.
Same.
But I just don't want to get there.
Long-term goals are have like what you want to be able to spend. Exactly. Like you want to get there and then be like, I have to keep working.
Like I said, I guess the main goal for me then, to put it in those words, is like to get to a retirement age and be able to like maintain a pretty close lifestyle to what I am used to and enjoy, as opposed to getting to a retirement age and being in a position where I'd have to like significantly cut the kind of lifestyle back a 100%. Little bit. That's kind of the main goal, I guess. But in terms of, there's nothing like, not necessarily house wise, because it's
you own a cottage.
I own a cottage and it's a little bit tough. I don't know if it makes sense for me right now to be owning a home in Toronto. But that's a potential goal. Real estate's never a bad investment to make. But that's where I'm at. You said that earlier that you opened a first-time homebuyer account or the savings account.
Yeah, so I have it.
Is that a direct goal that you have?
I think I have the desire to. It's so funny. I didn't think I did. Like even like 5 years ago, I used to be so like I'm gonna rent forever, which I might rent forever, but I wouldn't be surprised if I like I didn't use my first time home buyers obviously because I bought it with my parents when I bought the cottage, so I still have it. Like I didn't use it, so I wouldn't be surprised if like maybe I don't know. I'm like I would like to own a house, but I don't need to own one to feel like fulfilled. Like I'm not doing it also from a perspective of like I'm doing it for this like financial investment, like it's like a quick investment, whatever. Like it would be because just like it makes sense because of like if I can afford to have a mortgage that is roughly the same as my rent and I can live in a house versus a condo, then like obviously at that point that's like that would make sense and I can own it and like that's like just I would love to, but it's like I also refuse to be house poor and I don't want to take all of my savings and drain it into
I think
I'm not saying
that's where
draining. It's like
I'm
it's
at,
but you know what I mean? That's the difference. It's like in Toronto, it's so different here. Like and I want to own a home here. Like what I'm not one of those people that wants to own a home so badly I would leave. Like and some people do that. Like some people will leave, move to the suburbs, whatever. Which
I
is
think
great.
that's
like,
exactly. Yeah, I don't want to just for the benefit of having a home totally give up the lifestyle of living in the city.
100%. I refuse to do that. So I prioritize living in the city more than I prioritize owning a home. If it means I could own a home in the city, like whether that means like in the East End one day or like if I go more north, like whatever that means, if I could own a house, that would be amazing. I could like make my own and do my own stuff with it, but I refuse to drain all of the savings that I have in turn that we've just talked about that could turn into our retirement one day. Like I don't want to be that person that's like my house was my retirement. Like that's not good financial planning. So I would like to, and if it makes sense, then I'll do it. But I don't want to then look at my bank account and have a bunch of zeros because I'm living in essentially my bank account, my savings account, because that's like where all my money went. So but I'll also say is like that's where like I think I maybe one day will, but then also when I said I have a first time homebuyers account, that doesn't necessarily mean that it'd be like buying a house in Toronto. Like maybe I buy like another like cottage or that type of property and I just buy it outside of the city. But you know what I mean? Like there's different reasons to have it. Or maybe I do buy a condo, like whatever. It's more likely that I would buy a house than a condo though. I think I would always rent in buildings. I don't know if I'd really purchase in a building. That's just like, I mean, who knows, that might change, but yeah, I don't know. It's like I just don't want to give up living here for it. Like it's not that important to me, if that makes sense. I feel like that's really roundabout long way of saying that.
But also good to have the option of having that account regardless, even if you're not like ready to buy something 100%. Tomorrow.
Well, yeah, exactly. So I think I keep the option open. The market is shifting and it's really interesting right now in the city especially. So like there's a world where like maybe that is becoming a little bit more realistic for me.
Should we
in my current state?
Should we do a fun one just to end it? What would you do if you received lottery winnings, an inheritance, or any other huge windfall of money? Say you got $10 million.
We define 10 mil? Okay.
Yeah.
10 mil. We have. Did I talk about this on the podcast already? We talked about how like I could win $10 million and I could like my life would maybe from the outside not look like it's changed that much. I think it's because like so much of it, I'm such a saver. The first 5 million is just going going into a savings account, like 100%.
It was like some stat that like a third or maybe even higher, maybe 2/3 of like people who win the lottery go broke within like 5 years or something like that.
That's insane because if you put $5 million in like a GIC at whatever percent, like you could literally be making 60. You could be making like over 100. Like I don't even know the math on it. Like you could be making over $100,000 in interest. So then you could live off the interest. Like, are you joking?
Yeah.
And that's with it growing still. Anyways, that's crazy. So first 5 mil, let's say, is going into a savings. Now I have $5 million. I think if I won 10 million, then yes, home ownership is in Toronto. I'm not buying though like a big gaudy house. Like I'm still buying like
you could buy a
small,
$10 million
probably
house
semi.
in Toronto.
100%. Oh, that'd be very easy. I was seeing those
live up by
houses in Forest
Drake.
Hill when I was there last week.
Yeah.
Exactly. But you can't even afford the bridal path for that much. You have to have like 15 mil for the bridal path
right.
nowadays. Forest Hill is even that expensive. But I could still buy like a semi in the East End, but it's just finished and I don't have to like do anything to it. Like it's just a finish,
nice.
or one of those houses that's on like Riverdale, like on the park.
Yes,
Like
they're all
on,
God,
yeah,
there's
like
some
those
really nice
houses
homes
are
up
like
there.
2.5. Those ones are like $2.5, $3 million. So like, if I could buy then like a $2 million home and then have zero mortgage, I say 2 million because like that's a
Yeah.
normal Toronto house price. I'm sorry to anyone listening to this. That's just the reality. And then I would go on some bomb vacations, like just like
Oh yeah, travel.
screw
of
off
course.
for like travel for like maybe my headphone fell out. I would travel for maybe like a year and like just bounce around, especially while I'm young.
I would
But I would
buy
still
a
post on the
vintage-
internet.
Oh, 100%. Well, we'd want to see the travels. They would just like be a little bit. They'd be more frequent.
Elevated and
Yeah.
more elevated, I think. What
I would.
you buy a
I'd
vintage
buy
what?
a vintage Range Rover, and then I would
Classic.
purchase or probably rent a large factory, kind of empty floor. What's that called? Not a factory, a storage facility. What are those things called?
Okay.
A warehouse. I would get a warehouse, and then I would just like
warehouse.
I'd buy and import just like the best chairs in the world, and I would just sit.
Yeah,
I would
that's
just
what I
go to my
figured.
warehouse and listen to music and sit in my chairs, and then the rest would go into. So that would only be like, I don't know, $500,000, and then I would put the rest in savings.
And then I think I would also have like, I really love my car though, so I maybe would just like chill for a little bit. I would build like a studio.
Yeah.
Like a production studio, like a proper
Realistically,
studio.
then you're turning that 10 mil. That's just like a business investment, right? And then you're turning that into
That's the
30
thing.
mil,
It's like
40
I'm
mil,
not trying to
et cetera, et
just
cetera.
have 10 mil. I'm trying to make the 10 mil turn into more. Exactly. So I would hire a
Exactly.
team and then have like a.
Well, that's what I mean about
self-sufficient studio that
retiring.
maybe
It's
has
just like,
Yeah.
it's scary to me to just be like, oh, if I got a windfall, I just stop and just like hang out. I get so bored. I would anyway. I don't think I
Yeah.
could do that. I'd have to do something fun.
I would too. Also, 65 is still young, so it's like crazy to think that people just stop working. Then that's all
Well,
they
that's
do.
what I
I'm
mean.
like,
It's
what?
just like
That's
I want to
crazy.
be a cool guy at 65, like going to like, I don't know, the office party and like walking around with a bottle of champagne or something.
You don't
That
go to
seems
the
young to me.
office party now. You don't work. You don't work with people. You say you want to go to the office party. You don't have an office.
You know
Where
what?
do
Maybe that's
like,
what's
do you go
what's
to
going to
those?
happen. My retirement plan is going to be like getting a retail job or something, just so I can have the experience of like going to a
My
regular office
Haley's
party.
Haley's dad does that. He was like a freelancer for almost like or like had different jobs or whatever, and then his retirement job is he works at Golf Town because he loves golf, so he gets a discount
I love
and
that.
he works
Honestly,
at Golf Town.
that might be like if I could
You could
if I
work at a
retire
chair
and work at
store.
I'm saying if I could work at like a vintage furniture store, I would love that. So that's probably my retirement.
Because then you're
plan,
just making
actually.
like fun extra money. Like it's not like it's like a hobby at that point. It's not really a job.
Yeah, I'm just there to chat, sell chairs, sit in chairs, hang out.
You
listen
become
to some
like
records.
did you ever watch the movie Intern with Anne Hathaway and
Yeah. I watched that.
Robert
That
De
you know
Niro?
what? Robert De Niro. It's a
That's
great
like- that's what you
plain
could do.
movie.
but that's what you could do. If you said you want to just like as an old person go to the office parties, you could be like an intern like Robert De Niro.
Okay, if anyone's listening,
He
to
works
this,
in an
that's
old
gonna-
factory.
Yeah, if someone makes it big in 30 some years, shoot me a message on LinkedIn and give me a job.
Okay, this was a great money conversation. And if you liked this episode and the topics and everything that we talked about, if you liked our conversation with Melissa, make sure you let us know by commenting, subscribing, giving us 5 stars. And let us know if you align on any of these money ideologies, or if you have more questions, you can ask us and we will answer them in our next voicemail episode. And we promise we'll be in the same room together eventually. I know for you listening, it probably doesn't make a difference, but if you're watching, thanks for watching.
We got some fun
Thanks for
episodes coming
listening.
up.
We have some really fun things planned for the holidays as well, so make sure you keep it locked on the Talking Fast Show Instagram. I've been Sarah, that's been Jacob, and we'll see you next week. Bye.